Alright, good evening everyone and you're welcome to Street Sense with PTom. I want to really appreciate you for joining us last week and also for the time you shared it out with us again today. Thank you so much. I believe you were blessed by that last week topic. It was awesome. Alright, I think it's time for you to help us invite your friends, tag your friends, share this video, go to our YouTube, please subscribe also, and also put on the notification button so that anytime we share new videos, you will be the first to get the notice of it. Okay, tonight in the next few minutes I want to share with us on 5 mistakes that I discovered that Solomon made in his lifetime. Remember, Solomon was a man that even Jesus attested the fact that he was the wisest man that ever lived until Jesus came. So Solomon had that gift of wisdom that even kings from the east and all around him came to listen to his wisdom. So he had the wisdom. But how come that he got to the end of his life and then he began to say that vanity upon vanity or is vanity? How come such a wise man got to that point in this journey? I want to outline 5 mistakes that I've discovered that he made just from the books of Ecclesiastes chapters 1 and 2. And I hope that by looking at his mistakes, we will be able to better structure our whole life. Okay, number 1 from Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 13. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 13. The Bible says, he's speaking, that our Solomon speaking, Solomon said that I set my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. This burdensome task God has given to the sons of man by which they may be exercised. He said he decided by wisdom to search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. And then he ended up saying these burdensome tasks, because that is truly what it's going to become. Now this is a mistake. Learn to stick to your purpose. No one is charged with the all things purpose. Learn to stick to your purpose. You are not supposed to be here and there and there and there and be everywhere. The same he wants to study botany, the same he wants to know about zoology, the same he wants to know about philosophy, the same he wants to. And the first thing is, if you are you going to be knowledgeable to an extent in those aspects, not that you will now want to become an icon or an authority in those aspects. You must learn to stick to your purpose. And one thing about purpose is that it streamlines, it slim fits, or better still, it helps you to be detailed in one thing. Alright, and you pay your focus, your full attention on that thing until you become an authority to be recognized in that aspect. So when you do not, number 1, find out what your purpose is, stick to it, alright, and become an icon in that part, and you decide to be all over the place, you will find out that you are toiling, alright, or you're toiling in the path of Solomon's mistakes. So learn to stick to your purpose. Learn to stick to that which God has committed into your hands. Yes, you may want to attempt this and attempt that, but find out intrinsically what is it that God expects me to do with my life. There is that one thing for which God created you for. So you might do several things with your life and not do that one thing. That one thing, Jesus would say, one thing is necessary. Mary, Martha, one thing is necessary. One thing is necessary. There is that one thing that God has created you to do, to become also. Do that, and then you will find fulfillment even at the end of your life. So let us stick to your purpose. Now, you can't stick to a purpose that you have not yet discovered. You must first come to an understanding and discovery of what your life purpose is. And what is purpose anyway? Purpose is that which God saw and necessitated your birth. Alright, and then when you were given birth to, you were saddled divinely, alright, with the responsibility to discover it. You don't design your purpose, you discover it. Then you develop yourself to be able to fulfill, alright, carry out your purpose. when your purpose is known to you, it will give you assignments, life's assignments, the things you have to live the rest of your life doing. And I've said it over time that one of the ways to make your life significant and relevant is to find out your purpose and then live the rest of your life fulfilling it. You see, the moment you live your life that way, you will never get into frustration, even though circumstances that are not pleasant may come and rise, right? But you know, all right, that you are in line with destiny. You are in line with destiny. The best way to live your life is to live it under the will of God, all right? And with that understanding, you will save yourself from unnecessary competition. You will save yourself from unnecessary assumptions also. So when Solomon decided that, you know what, I'm going to search out by wisdom concerning all that is done under heaven. That is too much for one man. God has also given others wisdom. Theirs might not be as much as yours, but you see, it is their own. Do it. Alright, let them do it. You do yours and excel at it to the point that it tried, it attempted, and he said, this burdensome task. God does not burden us with purpose. Purpose is an assignment in our hands. It's not a burden. It's not a burden. It becomes a burden when you are trying to do what you have not been sent to do. Alright, so please pay attention to your purpose. Stick to your purpose once you've discovered your life purpose. Number 2 mistake I saw that Solomon made, you will see from Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 3. He said, Solomon speaking here said, I said of laughter, verse 3, I searched in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom. So that he searched in his heart how to gratify, satisfy, alright, indulge his flesh with wine. And 2, while guiding his heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. In other words, this mistake was he tried to combine wine and wisdom together. Wine and wisdom are two combinations that cannot go together. Alright, you cannot be a drunk and at the same time be a wise person. Wine and wisdom are two combinations that cannot go together. In Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 15, Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 15, Solomon says, so I commended enjoyment because a man has nothing better under the sun than to eat, to drink, and be merry. For this will remain with him in his labor all the days of his life, which God gives him under the sun. That is the conclusion of a drunk. He came to a conclusion and said, I commended enjoyment because a man has nothing. How can a wise man say that? A man has nothing better under the sun than to eat, to drink, and to marry. Oh, definitely that is not true. But you see, when it said in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 that he searched, he decided to gratify his flesh with wine, and at the same time still guide his heart with wisdom. You cannot combine wine and wisdom together. Without wisdom severs you from wine, or wine separates you from wisdom. That is why in the book of Proverbs chapter 31, you will see where, I think chapter 30, you will see where the mother of King Lemuel was writing and said, let me advise you, O king, it is not for kings to be drunk. Excuse me. It is not for kings. It is not for kings. It's not for kings to be given to wine. It's not. If you are wise, apart from the medical implication of alcohol, apart from that part, you will understand that listen, it can blacken or dull your intelligence in terms of your response at that particular point to situations and circumstances. Wine and wisdom cannot be evenly combined. One will take preeminence over the other. So Solomon understood the implications of these, but he decided, you know what, I'm going to give myself to mine, and at the same time, I'm also going to try as much as possible to guide my heart with wisdom. But one of the things that happened, that did to him, was that it severed him from wisdom eventually. All right, so he now said, all that is important for a man to do is to eat, to drink, and to marry. He said there's nothing better. That is not the words of a wise person. Okay, so be careful of this wine and the wisdom. You cannot compare the two together. Oh, are you saying we should not drink? I leave that to your to your conscience, all right? But I'm saying that you cannot be given to wine. There is nothing an alcoholic can actually accomplish, all right? Once he has been eaten up from within by that bad habit, you will have to first cure yourself. You see, in some climes, alcoholism is treated as a disease itself. All right, that's why they even go for therapy. They have to go for counseling, because it's an issue. It's an issue. It stops them from being able to address issues correctly. Okay, and yeah, they might be good at what they do, but that weakness, it affects every other part of them. So wine and wisdom are two combinations that can go together. It's either one saves you from the other, or this one destroys you or wine destroys you because you're giving yourself to wine. Number 3 mistake that I saw that Solomon made is in the 10th verse of the same Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 10. Solomon said, whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure. For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my reward from my labor. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. Inability to hold back your desires, inability to hold back from the desires of your heart, of your eyes, always leads downwards. If you are unable to hold yourself back from gratifying, right, your desires every time, my mentor said that maturity is the ability to postpone, all right, your gratification. You can tell yourself, no, I'm not going to buy this now, not because I don't feel like it, not because I can't afford it right now, but because I know this is not the right time for me to have it. But that was not what Solomon did. What Solomon did to himself, and it was a deliberate decision. Solomon said that I decided not to withhold from my heart any pleasure whatsoever. Whatsoever his eyes saw and desired, he did take it. And no wonder he had 700 wives and 300 concubines, because you can see women in different shapes and sizes. So once he saw one, this one is V-shaped, and he loved it, he desired her, he went after her. What number will I be in your house? Will be number 101. All right, no problem. The next day, he will go out trying to do whatever communal work he was going to do, and then he will see another lady, this one in S shape, and then his eyes desired it. Boom. Then he went after him. Listen, if you cannot hold yourself back from your desires, then definitely you are leading in a spiral downward movement. Inability to hold yourself back or to hold back from the desires of your heart. You must learn to postpone your gratification. You must learn to tell yourself it is not yet time. Listen, there are some things you are able to financially afford right now, but you are still not equipped to have them. Right, and then it takes a sincere heart, it takes a mature person to be able to decode when, even though I can afford to pay it right now, but then I should be sincere with myself. I should not have this thing right now. All right, it is just the best example I can give to you is like you can buy a car for your child because you're financially equipped to, all right, but then your child is just 6 years old. Would you buy him a toy car or you buy him a Mercedes Benz? Okay, would you buy him that Benz and say you should drive it just because you can afford it? You must know that, listen, when you do not withhold yourself from desires, from your desires every time, what you are doing is that you are indulging not just yourself but your destiny. You are putting yourself in a place where life can corner you eventually and beat you to a stupor. You must learn to stay off from the things that, okay, I want this, I want this. Imagine you saying yes to every of the child's tantrums. Imagine you saying yes to everything your child points to and say, Daddy, I want this, Mommy, I want this. Imagine what will happen. That child is going to love you. That child is going to be happy with you. But that child eventually is going to hurt you because you never taught that child that it is possible to be deprived at sometimes of some things. You never taught that child that, listen, it is possible that you want this, but then you shouldn't get it. Not because you do not have the ability to have it, but because that is just the way life runs. Okay, so Solomon said, whatever my eyes desire, I did not keep from them. Learn to keep certain things away from the reach of your eyes. And if your eyes reach them, learn to keep them away from the reach of your hands. And then he went on and said, I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure. Listen, don't indulge yourself in too much pleasures that will lead to pressure. That is what a lot of young people in our generation do not understand. That they are given to pleasure. And there was a session like this we took, and I said that is one of the vices that the older generations, especially the politicians, used to subjugate the youth, used to keep the youths under. How they sell the idea of pleasure and entertainment to this generation so much that all they think about is entertainment, how they can be entertained, how they can be indulged, and then they through those pleasures they blind themselves from seeing the reality of life. So you must understand that that is maturity. I can afford this, but I know that I should avoid it for the time being, even though materially speaking, or financially speaking, I can afford. Number four mistake that I saw that Solomon made, we will see it in verses 17 and 18 of the same chapter 2. Verses 17 and 18 of the same chapter 2. Solomon speaking here said, therefore I hated life, because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me. For all is vanity and grasping for the wind. Nobody can catch the wind. Solomon here speaking says, he got to a point where he was distressed by the work that was done under the heart, because it looked as though he was just trying to reach out for the wind. Verse 18 says, then I hated my labor. That's the point there. He said he hated his labor in which he had toiled under the sun. Why? Because I must leave them to the man who will come after me. Listen to the fourth mistake. To hate life and to hate labor is to take a break from success. To hate life and to hate labor is to take a break from success. You cannot hate life and do good in that life. You cannot hate labor and do well in life. It is not possible. When you see people that they begin to look at work as though it is stressful, there is no shortcut to success. There's a shortcut to success. Every successful person, most times, the weirdest people have are the greatest workaholics you can see around. It will be very, very hard for you to see an extremely rich person that is a workaholic. The work. Take a cue from Jesus. Jesus said, my Father works, hitherto I work. Great men that have shaped history, are men that are given to work. So you cannot come and say you hate life and that you hate labor, and then you expect to be able to sustain your wisdom, or to be able to sustain your wealth, or to be able to sustain your relevance. No. Work is not a product of of man's fall. Work is a product created of my labor in which I had toiled. Listen, no matter how stressful that work is, don't you ever get to the point where you don't say, I hate my work. Alright, you may get to the point where you no longer like your job, then yeah, that's a pointer to several things actually. We need to find that I don't want to speak in general terms. If you're no longer excited about going to work every Monday, we should ask questions so that we can know whether you are in the right part, you're in the right career, or whether it's time for you to quit and do something else with your life. But generally speaking, we can't just say because you say to us that you hate your job, then you are actually stepping up in purpose. It could be that you're getting lazy also. Alright, so certain questions needs to be asked for us to come to a better conclusion as touching why. But what I'm saying is, if you now see you, it's your labor. In other words, the place where you have sweated, the place where you have invested, you now come back and say, you know what, I totally ate this, I totally ate everything I've done. Look at verse 20 for example. In verse 20 he said, therefore I turned my heart and despaired of all the labor in which I had toiled under the sun. He said he despaired it, he hated it, he became afraid of what he was doing with his life, of what he was doing with. Remember that the first thing I said as one of the mistakes of Solomon was I decided to want to attempt to be an icon of all things. So he now said he has toiled in all those things and he despaired it. To hate life and to hate labor is to take a break from success. And number 5 mistakes that I saw that Solomon made is in the same chapter of the book of Ecclesiastes, verses 18 and 19. Okay, no, the fourth one is to hate life and to hate labor, alright, to take a break from success, and you see it in verses 17 and 18. Then there was another mistake that he made between verses 18 and verse 19. Alright, he said, then I hated all my labor which I had toiled under the sun, because I must leave it to the man who will come after me. Verse 19 then says, and who knows whether he will be wise or a fool, yet he will rule over all my labor in which I toiled and in which I have shown myself wise under the sun. This also is vanity. This also is vanity. Number 5 mistake that Solomon made was not to prepare himself a successor. Alright, he did not adequately prepare himself a successor. To not prepare a successor is to diminish your success. Alright, because your success must outlive you before you can say that you are a success. If you are not preparing your successor, then your success eventually is going to diminish back to zilch. Alright, and when Solomon was going to die, his kingdom began to have problems just immediately after. David, do you all know that David was the only king in the Bible who saw his son rule in his lifetime? Every other king in the Bible never had that privilege. They never saw their son or their child rule in their time. David was the only one. And guess what? David prepared Solomon and also prepared things for Solomon, alright, for him to have a good reign in his time. The question is, are you preparing your successor? Solomon here said, I don't know who's going to take over my estates. I don't know whether the person is going to be a wise person or is going to be a fool. Now, whose fault is that? Now, it's not about you preparing a will. It's about you preparing the people that will undo what is in the will. If all you just do with your life is to make money, and then you have not made your children, alright, to be able to undo the things that you are going to hand over to them, they will mess things up. So Solomon was afraid. He said to himself, I've labored, I've toiled, I have several inheritances that I'm going to give I'm going to leave. I can take anyone out, right? I'm going to leave it behind. But my fear now is who I'm going to leave it behind to. I don't know whether the person is wise. If you are taking this time to raise a successor, if you are taking this time to raise a child into a king, you will be confident that that child will take, just like his father David was confident of him. David looked at Solomon and said, you know what, guy, I'm going to give you counsel. And he gave him counsel. And then he gave him money also. And then he told him, you know what, sit on my throne. So he gave him the throne, he gave him counsel, he gave him material blessing. T.D. Jakes says something. He said, it's not so much about what you leave for your children, it's about what you leave in them. If you leave an inheritance for them and do not leave a legacy in them, they will waste your inheritance. So Solomon never took his time. He was busy here and there, and no, he did a great job. He did a great job, really. All right, he wrote over 1,000 songs. He wrote over 3,000 proverbs. I mean, that is a great guy. I mean, and the proverbs are still with us till today. Can you imagine? Over 1,000, in fact, the Bible says 1,005 songs. He wrote over 3,000 proverbs. He did research on the ant, he did research on the Aesop, he did research on the cracks of the world. He understood botany, he understood a lot of these things. But eventually there was nobody to take over from him. Let me recap just 5 mistakes. Number one, learn to stick to your purpose. If you are here and there, you are not going to do well in life eventually. Okay, number two, you cannot combine wine and wisdom together. Oh, no, you can't tell me that. Exactly. One is already robbing you of the other. Wine will tell you that nobody can counsel you. Wine will tell you that you are the best counselor for yourself. Wine will tell you not to take heed to instructions and correction. You cannot have that combination of wine and wisdom. Wisdom will save you from wine. Wine will severe you, cut you off from wisdom. Number three, mistake that I believe Solomon made was in his inability to hold back from the desires of his eyes. Everything his eyes saw, he got every pleasure he wanted, he gave himself up. Right, and that is a mistake. That's a mistake. You cannot indulge yourself, indulge your children, and then get them to do well eventually in life. Number four, to eat life and to eat your labor is to take a break from success. Okay, I tell people, even if you are going to resign from that job, make sure you have a good reputation. All right, for one reason, men are theirs, people are theirs. You have interacted with people, all right, and then you don't know where else you're going to meet those people. Okay, so make sure that you may not like the job anymore and you want to quit. Okay, now understand, like I said, it is not the best decision that just because you don't like that thing, the next thing is you have to quit. No, we have to ask some basic questions. What exactly is going on before you can tell, okay, you know what, it's time for you to move on from your job to your work. But now when you swear for things and you've labored for things and now come out and say, I hate them, or I do not need to work, and I just want to make money, I don't have to swear, I don't have to work. Listen, you've taken a break from success. And number five, and by the way, I love this definition of success that my mentor gave. He said, success is when what you see on the inside matches what you see on the outside. All right, so until you see that, until there's a correlation, a symphony between what is on the inside and what's on the outside, you do not stop laboring and you do not get to that point where you say, I eat my labors. Who eats his labors and then eats from it? Do you know what I'm saying? You cannot eat your labors and then be able to eat from it. And lastly, the mistake that I think Solomon made also was that he did not take his time to prepare his successor for the sustenance of his success. Prepare your children, prepare your staff, prepare your team to be able to help you sustain your success. I'm sure you're going to bless by tonight's teaching. Please help us to spread this message and subscribe also to our YouTube channel. And God bless you. See you next week. I celebrate you. God bless you.